can prevent it. So hello and welcome. This video is all about damp and mould, how you can prevent it and how you can get rid of it. So your guide to damp and mould. So damp and mould in the home can be a health hazard, causing respiratory problems and exacerbating allergies. Making sure your home is free from mould and damp is not only important for your health but also the rest of your family. Preventing damp and mould is much easier than you might think. This quick guide explains how some everyday habits contribute to damp and mould in the home can be a health hazard, causing respiratory problems and exacerbating. Damp and mould in the home. This is your guide to damp and mould. So damp and mould in the home can be a health hazard, causing respiratory problems. Making sure your home is free of mould and damp is very important for your health and the rest of your family. Preventing damp and mould is much easier than you might think. This quick guide explains how some everyday habits contribute to damp indoors and offers simple solutions to minimise and deal with small damp and mould issues. So air your property regularly. Open windows regularly to make sure your property is well ventilated. Even when it's cold, moisture can gather in your home. Opening a window allows some of the moisture to escape. Doors. So keep bathroom or kitchen doors closed when having a shower or a bath or when cooking. This will prevent moisture from spreading to other parts of the property. Clean the condensation from windows and frames every day will minimise the spread of black mould. You can use a rag or a towel or wipe away condensation. Running your heating can avoid cold spots, dry out damp and reduce your chances of getting mould. The magic number here is 18 degrees, making sure that your rooms are 18 degrees at the minimum. So keep an eye out for leaks. So if you do see leaks, this can help mold to form. So just keep an eye out, make sure that if you're doing any leaks, get them repaired. Something that constantly drips in some floorboards and you see damp patches will eventually turn to mould if it's in the right conditions. So just keep your eye out for leaks. Don't dry clothes on radiators. The vapour from the radiators Don't dry clothes on radiators. So the moisture that dries out of the clothes goes into the air and then condenses onto cold surfaces. So don't dry clothes on radiators. So the moisture that comes out of the clothes goes into the air and then condenses on cold surfaces like your windows, window frames, window reveals. These are all colder areas. So make sure that you don't dry your clothes on radiators. Use an airer, use a dehumidifier, open a window to keep it vented and the moisture escape. Keep it localised to one area, but don't fill your home up with radiators full of drying clothes. Use a dehumidifier is a great way to take moisture out of the air, especially if you dry your clothes indoors. You can buy inexpensive ones from local hardware stores or online. Disposable damp traps can be good, but it may prove more expensive than just buying a dehumidifier and an electric one. So just weigh up both. And it's probably not as environmentally friendly with all the chemicals that are in the damp traps. If you have an extractor fan in your bathroom and kitchen, just make sure that they're always on. Ideally, you need a humidity stat, so when it senses the humidity reaches a certain level, it will kick in, whether you've got the light switched on or not, because sometimes the bathroom fans, they will only kick in when the light's on. You must have one that's a humidity stat or have a humidity sensor on it, so when it hits a certain humidity, it kicks in and starts sucking all the humidified air out of the bathroom or kitchen, and it'll help reduce to prevent mould and mildew and black spots. Don't overfill your home. So if you've got a home that's full of items, belongings, which everybody has, but don't overfill it. Don't move everything up to the walls. You need to let air so it circulates around. So especially in corners, trying to shove things up to the wall in corners, because it's a bit of a dead area. You're not going to get the circulation around the room, and you're going to find that you're going to get some black spots there. So some plants can absorb moisture. Did you know that? No, I bet you didn't. So these can absorb moisture from the air and prevent. Some plants can absorb moisture. Did you know that? And pollution from the air, and are a great addition to your damp prevention arsenal. So Peace to Liz, Tilisandia, if that's how you pronounce it, Parmesan ferns are all moisture absorbers. Some ferns actively thrive in damper rooms, such as kitchens and bathrooms. Just make sure you give them plenty of indirect sunlight. So how to clean damp and mould? So make sure you get your bleach solution, or first of all, how to clean damp and mould. So first of all, you need some bleach. So make sure you make the bleach, mix in some bleach solution carefully with water according to the instructions on the bottle, very carefully. Then next, make sure you've got some gloves on. Use gloves, Marigold, something like that. Something's not going to, or that is going to stop the water from getting to your hands. Use a stiff bristle brush to scrub the area. Then clean off the area, dry. Make sure it's dry, and then leave a window or a door open to ventilate. And it's as simple as that. If it doesn't all go, then sometimes your silicone, if you've got some sealant around the bath, it might not go. You might need to remove all the old silicone, make sure it's all cleaned, thoroughly scrub all the black mildew mould from behind, and then once that's all clean and dry, make sure, it's very important, you fill your bath up with cold water. If you fill it up with hot water, then you've got steam, it's going to go and cause you an issue. But fill it up with cold water, open your windows, then make sure that the bath is sealed. Then leave it a couple of hours, as long as you can really, before you let the water out. And then the idea behind this is the water makes the bath sink slightly. You might only be talking a few millimetres, but there's going to be the weight of the water in the bath is going to make the bath sink a little bit. It's going to give you a bigger area, and I'm going to sneeze. So that's how to get rid of mould. So you might find that some of the more, well, there's a lot more mould in the property. It might be around your silicone sealant in your bath or your kitchen sink. So if that's the case, if it doesn't come off, you might have to scrub it a few times. But if it doesn't come off, then what you need to do is remove the silicone. So carefully cut it out, scrape it out with a sharp knife, and clean it all out. Make sure it's all dry. You might need to get some bleach in, give it a rub, get it all dried out, and then once you're satisfied it's dry, this is probably going to take you a day, by the way, because you've got to let things dry. So once you've done that, then fill the bath up. You need to fill the bath up with cold water, not warm water, because that's going to create condensation, which we're trying to not do. So fill it up with cold water, get it half full as much as you can, but make sure there's some weight in it, because that's going to make the bath settle down a little bit. It's going to sink slightly. It might only be a millimetre or two, but each time you get in the bath, that's what it sinks down, and it's that constant sinking down, and then you empty the water, you get out of it, and it comes up a few millimetres, and then it sinks down again when you put some more water in the next time. So it's constantly, you've got that constant movement all the time. So, and that's what cracks the silicone joint. So make sure that you fill your bath up, seal around the bath, make sure it's all nice, and then walk away. Leave the water in the bath. Make sure you keep it like that for a couple of hours, 3-4 hours ideally, and then once it's dried, after 3 or 4 hours, let the water out, and that means that the bath will gradually rise, only a millimetre or two, but it helps seal it for longer. So now you're squashing the silicone, rather than if you just left it and you'd sealed it normal. Every time you get in it, it stretches it. Now you're squashing it when you're out, and all you're doing is stretching it back. When you pull it, water in it, and you put yourself in it, you're just stretching it back to how it was before. And then you let water out, and then it squashes it. And that's basically what you do. So make sure that that's how you seal your bath, and then that way it should last longer. So I hope you've learned a little bit of something, learned a little bit of knowledge. Use it if you can, and see you later.